Live 001 002.
Here I would be preemptive in turning off the talk back so that we can get this going today. Am I centered?
Not centered, but we'll get you. There you go.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
Am I dark? Am I a silhouette?
No.
All right.
I would have said something by now, weirdo.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Torah Living, where we teach the basics of Torah through the living Torah, who is the Messiah, Yahushua. Shabbat Shalom to everyone. I am Cap, and I am here with
Tammy.
Oh man, Tammy, and we are live once again on this day, the day that we give the Most High His due when we stop doing those things that are a delight for us and delight in those things that He desires of us, that He has commanded. Those of you tuning in on YouTube, make sure hit that thumbs up. That helps us out quite a bit. Subscribe and share. Share with your community, share with your friends, share with your family. And make sure and hit that notification bell so that you never miss an upload. Today, we're going to talk about trials and tests and the difference between the two. And we're just going to dive into, because we're all going to get trials. We're all going to get tested. And they are different in that none of us can escape them. And I did a post earlier today, well, not today, but earlier this week, saying that, pray that your tests and your trials are not at the same time. The difference between tests and trials is that one comes from the Most High and the other does not. So, and what I mean by that is, one encompasses temptation and consequences for desires and sins and transgressions against Him. So, we're just going to dive into the scripture. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, or whatever, feel free to post them in the comments. And we will try to address each and every one as He sees fit for us to do. All right. So the first scripture, I guess we'll wait on Tammy because her phone may or may not be cooperative.
Took them screenshots at the right time, didn't I?
Did you?
I did.
All right.
James chapter 1, verse 2. Consider it pure joy, my brothers, when you encounter trials of many kinds.
Because they're going to come. Count it all as joy. And keep in mind that, none of us are immune or exempt from having trials, and the kinds of trials that we get are some of the things or some of the tools and weapons that Satan uses against us to keep us off focus, to keep us off track. just, trials work faith, works endurance. Hold on to the Most High. Focus on the Messiah and everything that he commanded of us, because we have a full plate of the things that are required for us to tackle on a day-to-day basis, every 24 hours. What's the next one?
1 Corinthians 10:13. No temptation has seized you except what is common to man. And Yahuwah is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide an escape so that you may be able to endure it.
So there's that temptation that I was talking about in the trial, that he won't stop you from going through, but he doesn't himself provide that trial for you to go through. So that's the difference between the test and the trial. But don't feel like you're singled out and you're the only one going through it, because it is nothing new. It is nothing new, and it is quite common to everyone going through trials, that, it's finite. Some of us may seem to get more, but keep living and you'll find out that that's not quite true. But while he allows you to go through it, he also allows for you to get out of it. The temptation part. If you are tempted at any time, sin lies at the door and it waits on you in your desire. And Satan knows that also, and will encourage you to do that thing that will effectively lock you out of the kingdom. Because sin, or bring death that much closer to you. Every time you sin, death takes a step towards you, because the wages of sin is death. So he also allows, the Elohim, Yahuwah, allows a way for you to escape the sin and the trial. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can give several examples, but I feel like I don't need to, since we all go through all kinds. But the scriptures actually does give an example, or two or three.
You've moved slightly, so I was moving your phone.
Oh, no problem. What's the next one?
Oh, that would be Hebrews 11:36. Still others endured mocking, floggings, and even chains and imprisonment.
Those are some of the trials that a lot of our ancestors, a lot of us even today, are going through, as people are being trafficked, people are still being enslaved, people are being beaten, people are being, in this system over here in America. We have to deal with a system of injustice throughout the law system, or, enforcement, where people have to deal with being beaten and tried and executed right on the street by law enforcement officers on it every day. There is at least 5 to 10 videos of such things happening. So, and these are trials. These are indeed hardships. These are indeed things that we have to go through, or have to witness and see, so that our endurance is worked and becomes very strong. And in the end, we will be strengthened, we will be protected, and we will be sealed against the day of judgment. So keep that in mind as you are going through your trials, that it is not for nothing. It is not for nothing that you endure hardships, that you endure being penniless, homeless, that you endure being in the legal system, in the court system. Those of you who are in jail, keep your head up. And if you know that you're innocent, or even if you are guilty, repent of what you have done. It is not over for you. These trials are set so that you may learn more than just right from wrong, but learning who is your provider, who is your Elohim, what is expected of you, where do you go from here. Those of you that are in hospitals that have been in part in accidents, and some of those people in the tragic accident that happened in Florida, where the half of the apartment complex fell over. A lot of people didn't come out. And you're thinking, man, you went to bed, that those people went to bed thinking that everything was cool. They were going to be all right. Tomorrow, I'll do this, and I'll do that. But this is to show you that tomorrow is not promised. You may not make it through this day. So you have a job to do. You have work to do. And even if you are going through your trials, even if you are being tested, that does not mean stop what you're doing. It does not mean that, you earn a reprieve from what you are required to do. He doesn't stop. He doesn't expect us to. Even when the chips seem down, and even when it seems impossible for us to do. With us, it may be impossible, but with him, all things are possible, as he has told us many times before. Keep that in mind.
I'm going to show you exactly where your phone's at, because I know you like to direct your eyes to the phone.
Okay.
You direct them more over to my water bottle.
That's fine. I mean, I'm blind, so...
I know you couldn't see it, but I could, and it was killing me. I was like, oh, I know he likes to have his eyes right there. You know what? Don't judge me. You're welcome.
What's the next verse?
Let's see. Mark 14:38. Chapter 14, verse 38. Watch and pray so that you will not enter into temptation. For the spirit is willing, but the body is weak.
I know you've heard that on more than one occasion, that spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And it is true. I mean, we want what we want, and sometimes those temptations come at an hour when, man, it may not be in you to be a thief until you get hungry enough. It may not be in you to, want to covet something until you've gone without and you have a serious need. It may not be in you to cheat on your husband or your wife until you've been abused and mistreated, and somebody comes along seeming to be the proverbial person on the white horse that will make you not lonely, give you money when you need it, buy you things, help you out, pay your bills, help your kids, try and do some of everything. I mean, temptation comes and it's so subtle sometimes, and you don't really think that it's a temptation. And a lot of us will delude ourselves into thinking that, hey, this comes from the Most High. He has sent this so that I can have this. Don't do that to yourself. Follow his will. He'll let you know when he sends something. And there won't be any doubt in your mind. It won't be something that you feel like you came up with. And he will answer you as long as you're doing his will. Keep that in mind. But you go through these trials and these tests and temptations, they will come. But the temptations do not come from the Most High. He will not tempt you at any time. Satan will, and he'll make it seem like it's coming from the Most High. He'll make it seem like it's coming from somewhere else. But you have a personal responsibility that you cannot blame on anyone but you, should you choose to partake of the temptation and sin. If you're starving and you see somebody drop a $100 bill, there's temptation there. You got a choice to make right there. You now have a decision to make. You're starving. That bill will feed you for a little while. And heaven forbid you have children also. Now you got a choice to make. You can choose to trust and believe in the Most High that He will provide for you, and you will ask Him to provide for you. Or you can trust and believe in yourself, in your own selfishness and your desire, and take that money and go and buy yourself something to eat. But keep in mind that the scriptures also say that ill-gotten gains are as fleeting as vapor. Poof, gone, and you're still in that same situation. You're still hungry. You're still starving. And now there's someone else who is hurting because you don't know their story. You don't know if they needed that money for something, operation that could have saved a life, something in their lives, gas money to get them to work, and they were on their last, warning as far as being late or missing work. Now they're out of a job and they're hungry too now because you, in your selfishness, it's more than what's just there. Trust in the Most High. When your trials and temptations come, trust in Him, and He will strengthen you and lead you out stronger and better than you were before you went in. What's the next one?
1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 9. Those who want to be rich, however, fall into temptation and become ensnared by many foolish and harmful desires that plunge them into ruin and destruction.
Man, it's like I knew exactly what the next verse was going to be. I did. But yeah, I mean, I don't really even need to explain anything more. I mean, that one basically lets you know that I'm not just saying things, I'm not making things up. It's already in the scripture. It's already there. So if you're going to believe in the words of the Most High, then believe them all. Look to the scriptures before and after for context. But find the meaning behind what it is from Him, because He gives you the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of all things. He will send the set-apart Spirit, but you must ask for it. It does not come automatically. As you will see if you read in Acts, if you read Romans, if you read Timothy, if you read those letters that Shaul wrote, you will see that there were some that were going through the motions and not knowing, not having that set-apart Spirit, nor had they even heard of it. So that part. Next one.
1 Peter 4:12. Dear friends, do not be surprised at the fiery trials you are going through, as if something strange were happening to you.
There should have been more, but
That's it.
Okay.
You said 4:12.
Yeah. Don't be surprised by your lack, what seems, or by worldly definition, your lack of fortune. It seems like bad luck follows certain people everywhere they go. If it wasn't for bad luck, they wouldn't have no luck. So, don't be surprised that it's happening to you when it happens. Don't be dismayed. Don't be, crestfallen. These things have to happen. And if he says that when these things happen to you, count it all as joy, that's kind of hard to do when you're going through a particularly fiery trial. It is hard to do when you're suffering. Suffering for long periods of time. You're suffering. It's like, when is this ever going to end? I'm telling you. And nobody is immune. Nobody is immune. I go through trials. Tammy goes through trials. We all go through trials. Sometimes real trials. You end up in the court system. Sometimes it's just a trial of just life, where you say, buy a house that wasn't taken care of, and people told you that it was ready to be moved in, and then it wasn't. And lots of things are now falling apart. Some of you may be in a place where, the refrigerator is not working, the water heater is not working, the heating system may not be working, the AC may be out, and it's hot outside, and things happen. But count it all as joy, because each and every trial that you go through, leaning on him, you will be strengthened in the end. And there are some trials that he will even protect you from if you endure. So keep that in mind, and keep your hope up, keep your chin up, and go through it. Go through it. Go through it. You will make it. You will make it. Some of them trials, you watched people who ultimately were weak-minded when they were hit with a particularly harsh trial. People being accused of things that they did not do. Some of them sadly took their own lives. Thinking back in history where that Black Wall Street, Black Tuesday, I think that's what they called it, where the Wall Street stock market crashed, and those people did not know how to go home to tell their wives and loved ones that we broke. We're going to have to sell everything. It was too much for them. They could not endure that trial. And they did not have Yahuwah. So they saw absolutely no way out. A lot of them took their own lives. Devastated families. Even more so because not only were they still broke, but they had to keep on living. They had to keep on suffering. And we don't want you to be weak-minded. We don't want you to be one of those people that, goes for self, because ultimately that is the most selfish act that you could possibly ever do, is to leave your family in suffering and ruin, taking your own life, thinking that you've escaped, which you have not. You have effectively jumped from the frying pan into the inferno beneath. Because it ain't over with death. So, all right, what's the next verse or chapter?
Revelation 3, verse 10. Because you have kept my word about patient endurance, I will keep you from the hour of trial that is coming on the whole world, to try those who dwell on the earth.
That part was the one I was speaking of. He himself opened his mouth and said that if you were to endure these little trials that you got going on, which they are little, and there is one that is coming that is going to envelop the entire earth, where there is not one of us that will be able to escape it except those who have held on to him and endured, and he promised that you will not go through it. This pandemic that the whole world is going through, could be one of those trials. Could be one of them. I mean, there's listed all of the plagues and things that we're gonna have to endure. But hold on to him through it all. Be strengthened by him. Renew your mind every day, because your blessings are renewed. Everything is new again. When the sun comes up, when it goes down from sundown to sundown, it is renewed. All your blessings, everything. You have now a brand new set, 24 hours to do his will and get and be ready. Don't waste your oil. Don't bury your talent. Don't beat the vineyard men or the messengers. Don't grieve the Spirit. And those things that you must do daily. There's videos on that on my YouTube channel, our YouTube channel, Torah Living. Find it. Look at those videos, comment, and and let me know what you think about them. Some of them are lengthy, some of them are not. Some of them are meant for you, a message that is just for you. Some of them are not. Some of them are messages for possibly somebody that you know. So don't dismiss them. Don't just, have derogatory things to say. If you have questions, post them in the comments. We'd be happy to hear from everyone. Those of you on Facebook, we'll be happy to hear from you. Share, like, subscribe. We have a Torah Living page on Facebook. Find it. It's in the search thing. I mean, we're thinking about, seeing if we can possibly, pay Facebook to put the word out and the name out. We don't want it to be about Torah living. That's why we haven't done things like that. But we want it to be about living Torah. Through the living Torah. We want it to be about him, not us. We're a congregation. We're a group of people that fellowship and listen to him and do his will. That's what we do. That's what we're charged to do. We're charged to teach others. We're charged to bring each other up to the level that we are, or we're charged to come up to the level that they are. But it has to be uniform. We have to serve the same Elohim. We have to serve the same Elohim through the same Messiah, the one who comes in his Father's name. We have to be true to one another. We have to be true to ourselves. We have to be true to our children. We have to be true to all who are watching us, because they are watching us. What's the next one, babe?
Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened and do not be dismayed. For Yahuwah is with you wherever you go.
Don't worry about the tests. Don't worry about them. They're coming. They're going to come. But hold steadfast. Be steadfast and immovable, always abounding in the word of the Most High. It's going to happen. I don't know what I want to say about that one. But, yeah. What's the next one?
Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of Yahuwah, what is good and acceptable and perfect.
So, all these doctrines that are floating out, all these sayings that are floating out, all of these judgments that are floating out in the world about how you should accept all things that, don't really have anything to do with the Most High. You should accept people for their lifestyle choices. And you should accept people for the things that they do in their bedroom. You should accept people for their choice in a mate. The worldly thought processes will pull you and bury you. How you should take care of yourself and your health. The government has one way of you taking care of yourself, which is, we won't mention it because we know how they are diligently going through every video and every post to dispel anything that they may not agree with. But you know what I'm talking about. You ain't got to take it. You don't have to. And they're going to try to make it mandatory. They're not going to try. They're already doing it. There's federal mandates now that you can't go back to work unless you do what they want you to do. And what does that mean? What is that? Where's our constitutionally protected rights? They don't exist when you're dealing with private entities. And I don't understand why there is such a huge separation between federal and state. We're all part of the same machine. You can't just put different gas in a car. It has to work to make the machine work. So I don't understand why, if there's a computer chip in your computer, why would you need a backup computer chip that really doesn't have anything to do with the functionality of that chip to make the whole machine work? It really makes no sense. It's redundant and it's unnecessary. It's sort of like the whole sheriff versus, state cop versus municipal area cop. It's redundant. You got U.S. Marshals, you got federal, you got state officials, you got, and then there's the National Guard, and then the Army, and then, you got all these different agencies and factions, the NSA, the CIA, the FBI, all supposedly to serve one purpose. But a federal agent can't come after you for murder. State can. But the state can't come after you for violating civil rights. The federal can. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. That's just, anyway, worldly things will creep in and, whew.
Man, that was long and drawn out.
And and I was only just, getting in there. You start worrying about the things of the world and the way that the world works, you will lose yourself in it. You will drown in it. Because every part of that takes you that much further away from the path of the Most High. When you have 24 hours to do His will and His will only.
Now, it's important to know what's going on, obviously. But you should not devote, 23 hours out of your day to researching things that are going on in the world. Let's put it like that.
Well, don't do that only. Like she's saying, don't do that only. I mean, make sure that you do what you're supposed to do, and you're not lacking in anything that the Most High requires of us, has commanded us to do. Get that stuff down first and foremost. You have a job to do. You have work to do. And in your spare time or whatever, if you want to stay abreast of the things that are going on, which is also a requirement, is something that the Messiah commanded us to do. Be wise as wolves, but harmless as doves. You have to know what's going on. Be as wise and as sharp as serpents and harmless as doves. Absolutely. So, know what's going on, but don't be involved in what's going on. All right? What's the next one?
It is Romans chapter 5, verse 8. But Yahuwah proves his love for us in this. While we were still sinners, Yahusha died for us.
He kept his word that he would send his only son, that we should live and have a right to a portion of life eternal and not perish. He wills that no man perishes. But we have been given that free will. Those two words. We've been given free will to make a choice. To go down that path or the narrow one, which is only as wide as one man. He is faithful. He does love us. He did give his son. That part is already done. If you're still waiting on him to come the first time, it's too late. He's already been and gone. He's ascended. So keep your mind on those things that are of heaven. Keep your mind on those things that are concerning the Most High and the Son, Yahusha. Next one.
Yes. Galatians 6:1. Brothers and sisters, if someone is caught in a sin, you who live by the Spirit should restore that person gently, but watch yourself, or you may also be tempted.
So tests come in all forms. Tests come in all forms where, for example, say you're accused of something that you did not do. And these people are going around from friend to friend to friend to friend and spreading all kinds of things about you. You, as one of those people who are a friend of the, you hear about such a thing, and now you have a choice to make. You can either jump on the bandwagon or you can ask questions and be just and righteous instead of unjust and self-righteous. There's a blurred line there. So, sorry, I got distracted there for a second. So you wanna make sure that you're being righteous and not self-righteous, and you're treating your brethren the way that you want to be treated, and your sisters, and your children, and your elders, if you have any, if you know any, following the commandments. There's a guideline there that will show you how to deal with your brother and your sister. Why not employ that? Why not? What can you stand to lose? But you have everything to gain. You gain your brother and your sister rather than to lose them and to struggle unnecessarily in self-righteousness, which Yahuwah has no part in. He has everything to do with righteousness, but not self-righteousness. If you're going to carry a banner or a flag or a torch for someone else's ought, for someone else's ire, wrath, indignation, self-righteousness. Be prepared to go down with them in their punishment. That's it, that's all. And that's not something that I'm making up. That's not something that I have any control over. You do, though. You have control over that. Take it for what it's worth. And take it seriously. Because Yahuwah is not playing around. And you don't have time to do it over. There are no do-overs. There are no takesies, backsies. None. No take. That's what we used to playing kickball as kids. They would throw a lopsided pitch somewhere, and it wasn't that kind of pitch that we needed in kickball. And no take, grab the ball, throw it back to the pitcher. It doesn't work that way in life. In that game, yes, but not in life. Life is not a game, and if you're treating it like it's a game, stop it. If there are things that you desire, that you want to do, places that you want to be, things that you want to take part in, and you know it has nothing to do with the Most High, stop it. You got the power to stop it. You have the power. Like I said earlier, like the scripture said earlier, that if you are tried and you are tempted, he does give you a way out. You have to love the truth more than you love the lie. The lie is you're going to be all right if you do it anyway. The truth is, if you do his will, then and only then will you be all right. That part. What's the next one?
Last one.
Last one.
Psalm 139, verse 23. Search me, Yahuwah, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts.
That right there can and should never be mistaken or put out of context, where he knows my heart. He knows, my thoughts. What it's saying there is test me so that you may know my thoughts and my heart, which he already knows by nature. Our heart is one of the most wicked things that is in existence right now of us, our hearts. But he also is the fashioner of hearts. So he can help you to change your heart. He can help you to be righteous. And if it were possible, the Messiah said so, that we can be perfect as he is perfect. Well, that's not true. I mean, we can't be perfect. There's only one that is perfect, and we can't be perfect. If he said that you too can be perfect, as a matter of fact, he commanded you, be perfect as he is perfect. That doesn't mean that, go back and cleanse yourself of all sin. You can't do that. But going forward from this day, you do not have to sin. You do not have to fail every test and trial. You do not have to fall for every temptation or every tempting thing coming your way. A most handsome, debonair, rich man, to come and sweep you off your feet, and you're already married. A beautiful, seductress, temptress woman that, seems to be able to want to do everything that you ask and be at your beck and call, and subservient and submissive and just, the perfect woman, just, oh my gosh, she's ready to just take you off the hands of the woman who is already your wife. Taking a job where you have to do some shady things in order to be successful. You have to hurt somebody. You have to deprive someone of life or things that will sustain their life. Yeah, he knows your heart. And it is a wicked thing. So go through your tests and your trials. Go through it holding on to him. Go through it knowing that you're going to be okay as long as you're doing his will. Pray and pray often. Pray and pray often to the Most High, whose name is Yahuwah. Pray and pray often through his son, Yahusha, because you can't pray to him without him. Be immersed, baptized in the right names, calling on the name of Yahuwah for the remission of your sin. And then watch him. Wait for the set apart spirit. You will receive it. And then the set apart spirit, who was promised, will teach you all things about truth and will guide you, instruct you, so that others also may have what you have. It is not inclusive. This is not a club where you are the elite and everybody else is just peasants and paupers. This is designed so that we may all make it. Well, that's all I had to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. There is no technicolor rainbow in between. Just, ladies and gentlemen, that bowl belongs to the Most High. It is Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. Make sure that you are keeping this day set apart. No kindling of fire, no exchanging of money, no business transactions, no working out in the field. And yeah, that's about it. Anything you want to say or add? My love.
No, thank you.
Well, that being said, we welcome your comments, your thoughts, your concerns, your corrections, your advice, all of that in the comments. And be sure, those of you on YouTube, hit the like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss an upload. And we'll check you guys next time on Torah Living.
Let's see, say hello to Amanda Henson and Mildred, looks like Sakal.
Hello, sisters Amanda and Mildred. Thank you guys for tuning in. Share this video with your friends, family, neighbors,
Your dog,
enemies.
cat.
Huh?
I said your dog, your cat.
Oh, yeah. Actually, the scriptures does say, preach to everything that has breath. So, yeah.
There you go.
We will check you guys next time in Torah Living. We love you and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.